Hello, Lisha, and hello to the South County community. The last day before Memorial Day in May, Lisha, along with thousands of other schools across our country, meet for Memorial Day service. Many students get excited because finals and summer are right around the corner, but at Lisha, it's a special day. It's a day to remember the hundreds of thousands of men and women who gave their lives so that we could live in freedom. And yet, we are not in school, but we are not going to let a closure end our tradition of having a Memorial Day service. Every generation had their own challenge. The Patriots in 1776 fought for freedom versus England. In 1861, a nation was divided, and many people gave their lives for what they believed in. In the 1930s and 40s, our country faced a depression and a world war. Thousands of people gave to the cause. And now we have our own challenge. And we're getting through the challenge. The American spirit will prevail. When things get tough, we get tougher. When things get hard, we work harder. And that's our American spirit. So gather around and let's watch our Memorial Day observation.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Star-Spangled Banner lyrics were put to music and were destined to find a place in American history as the national anthem of the USA. Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner lyrics during the War of 1812, or the Second War for Independence, which was an armed conflict between the United States and Great Britain. Just a month after the British had burned the White House during the height of War of 1812, Key was aboard a British vessel negotiating the release of a friend who was being held prisoner. During Key's time aboard the vessel, the British commenced attack on Fort McHenry, and the pair was not allowed to leave. So, Key and his friend watched from the ship as the British bombarded Fort McHenry. After a day and long night, in which Key thought for certain that the American fort was doomed, he was shocked when the early morning light revealed that the flag was still standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
Memorial Day. What is the meaning of Memorial Day? It is a time for our people to gather as a nation to show honor and tribute to the hundreds of thousands of men and women of the armed forces who gave their life so that we can live in freedom. Memorial Day originated during the Civil War in the 1860s. Many women would go to cemeteries and decorate the grave sites of Civil War soldiers who died in battle. It was a way to remember and honor their sacrifice to the nation. We continue that tradition today. I recently heard of a story that resembles the meaning of Memorial Day. One of our greatest presidents in history was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. President Roosevelt faced two major crises while president: the Great Depression and a world war. President Roosevelt was also one of our longest running presidents. He served the longest time as president. And sadly, he died while being president. He was only 63 years old. Certainly the stress of the Great Depression and a world war took a toll on his body. However, while he was president, he created new programs that cared and helped and benefited the average person. He would give fireside speeches over the radio, and he would talk with the American people with compassion and kindness. Through these actions, he took on the role of a father or even a grandfather of thousands and thousands of Americans. He literally was not their grandfather, but through his actions and care, the average person thought of President Roosevelt as if he was their grandfather. Sadly, at his funeral procession, two strangers were standing next to each other while the procession went by. The two men did not know each other. One of the men dropped to his knees in grief and crying. The man next to him said, "I'm sorry. Did you know him?" The man crying said, "No, but he knew me." Literally, Franklin Roosevelt did not know this gentleman crying, but through his actions and his thoughts and his words, it was as if President Roosevelt did know this man. And as we sit here on Memorial Day, the hundreds of thousands of people who died for their freedom, we did not know, but they knew us, and they gave their lives to us so that we can live in freedom.
The Armed Forces Melody, also known as the Armed Forces Salute, is a collection of the official march past songs of the 5 services of the United States Armed Forces: Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. The melody of the first performed in public during the first National Memorial Day concert in 1990 on the West Lawn of the United States Capitol building in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
Air Force.
During the American Revolution from 1775 to 1783, 8,000 lives were lost. During the War of 1812, 2,260 lives were lost. 1,733 lives were lost during the Mexican-American War from 1846 to 1848.
During the Civil War from 1861 to 1865, the U.S. Army lost 140,414 lives, and the Confederate Army had 74,524 lives lost. The Spanish-American War in 1898 had 385 lives lost. 1,020 lives were lost in the Philippine-American War from 1898 to 1913.
World War I from 1914 to 1918 had 53,402 lives lost. 291,557 lives were lost during World War II. That was from 1941 to 1945. During the Korean War from 1950 to 1953, 33,686 lives were lost.
47,424 lives were lost during the Vietnam War, which was from 1955 to 1975. During the Gulf War in 1990 through 1991, 149 lives lost. In the war in Afghanistan, which started in 2001 and is still going on, 1,833 lives have been lost.
Operation Inherent Resolve that started in 2014 and is still going on. 61 lives lost. During the Iraq War from 2003 to 2011, 3,836 lives were lost.
I'm Rosemary Saltis, and I am going to be retiring from the South Colony School District in August 2020, so it's an honor to do this, be my part in Memorial Day, but I'm really here to convey the real meaning of Memorial Day. My dad was in the World War II, my brother was in the Iraqi wars, and my husband served in the Air Force during the 1970s. So I grew up with a profound respect and admiration for all those that have served our country. I want to quote from Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, which I think is pertinent today, and it was written in 1863. Lincoln said, "It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall have not died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth." So today we honor our fallen soldiers, and to them we owe a ton of gratitude in allowing us Americans to live normal lives and mostly free. We must carry out this legacy by honoring these freedoms and doing our part to continue to make this country great, a great place to live. Let us never forget their sacrifice.
Just wanted to take a quick moment to say goodbye and thank you. Most of you know I'm retiring at the end of June. I want to thank each and every one of you that is my student now and in the past. You made each day new and different and taught me so much. I also want to thank my sixth grade colleagues. You are some of the most professional, awesome, talented people I've ever worked with. My teammate, Mrs. Iwanesco, you rock, lady. Thanks for always being upbeat and professional and my support. To my past, longtime teaching partner and dear friend, Mrs. Fumarola, thank you so much for all the wonderful memories and laughs we've had, and I hope you keep up the great singing. Senora Campbell, I know you are the last owl, but you can do this. You've got it. Stay strong. To the rest of the Lisha faculty and staff, I want to thank you for such great memories, for support, and I definitely will miss all of you, each and every one of you. I wish I could give you a big hug, but I'm a local girl, so I'll be back in the fall to say hello and goodbye. So Lisha, stay strong, stay safe, and remember, I love you. Keep up the great work, guys. You got it.
Taps is a bugle call played at dusk during flag ceremonies and at military funerals by the United States Armed Forces. The official military version is played by a single bugle or trumpet, although other versions of the tune may be played in other contexts. For example, the U.S. Marine Corps Ceremonial Music Site has recordings of 2 bugle and 1 band version. It is also performed often at Boy Scout, Girl Scout, and Girl Guide meetings and camps. The tune is also sometimes known as Butterfield's Lullaby, or by the first line of the lyric, Day is Done. Please listen as Aiden Verba performs Taps.
This concludes our Memorial Day ceremony. I thank you for taking the time to pay tribute and remember the hundreds of thousands of men and women who gave their lives in the fight for our freedom. I'd like to congratulate our retirees, and I wish them all the best in retirement. I wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe Memorial Day weekend, and throughout the weekend, maybe you can take a moment and reflect on our country in that American spirit. Thank you.